Right, hey guys, how we doing? Back on another video from Six, and today we're checking out Sasuke versus Tsunade. Is just another unfair fight. Um, yeah, Sasuke obviously got this one. Depending on where we're talking about, obviously early Sasuke don't got this. Tsunade gonna hit you, you're gonna crumble. But later on, Sasuke got the speed, the genjutsu. So yeah, let's see where this video's going.
Title and thumbnail more than explain what this video is actually going to be about. The only clarification needed here is that I'm going to be talking about Sasuke up to his peak at the Fire Kage Summit, since that should be where he's at his strongest, at least up to that point in Shippuden. And
I'm loving the Yu Yu Hakusho music in the background. Oh god, I'm gonna have to watch Yu Yu Hakusho again.
then I'm just taking Tsunade. It's not like she seems to train or anything, so all feats throughout the manga can be applied. I do versus battles like this often, so if you enjoy that type of content, consider subscribing to the channel and leaving a like on the video. And I have Sage on this video as well.
Cool.
One of my buddies. Go subscribe to him too.
A collaboration.
Yeah, so everybody knows that Tsunade is strong. Like, I mean, vaporize you in one punch kind of strong. Even
Yeah, I always say this. Like anyone fighting Tsunade, like if you mess up and let her hit you, you're kind of screwed.
the likes of Madara, like whenever she actually makes contact with his Edo body, she just literally does like decimates an entire side of him.
I mean, she managed to punch through the Susanoo as well, man. She's strong.
So her physical strength is not really going to be a problem for her. She's also obviously got crazy regen, especially whenever she goes into that mitotic regeneration.
Oh yeah,
Where
healing
she
and
doesn't have
everything.
to
Yeah.
leave hand signs or anything. Having Katsuyu as a summoning, something that could even kill Orochimaru with the acid, that's incredibly impressive. But what I really want to kind of hone in on here is the fact that some people try to scale her way higher than she deserves to be scaled by connecting her to Madara, right? So what we see in the manga is that she, along with the rest of the Kage, get the power of friendship and team up on him.
Yeah.
They're able to like juggle him for a little bit, which leads to her being able to like shatter the Susanoo ribcage, and then eventually, like I said earlier, just punch right through him as well. And some people will try to, particularly these TikTok guys will try to try to scale her to Madara physically, and then like above his Susanoo in terms of AP. And these are just so disingenuous. I mean,
No, I mean, like I said though, if you kind of mess up and she gets there, she got you. Like it's gonna hurt, but
number one, we have direct statements from Madara just saying that whenever he gets the his reincarnated body, he has Hashirama cells, and he says fighting with the Hashirama cells makes him fight less refined because he's relying on the regen. The same thing should apply here. We also just know that he's sandbagging because he's like making fun of them the whole time. He's not locking in, and then whenever he
yeah, he's not taking it seriously at all. Like, take the line for example, the one that everyone uses, by the way, when they do these fights. Madara literally goes, right, I got my wood clones. Do I use the Susanoo with them all, or just do I not? He's not taking it seriously.
finally does, he just tells them that he's going to show them his true power. So, and then right afterwards, he just folds them. So I don't think it's really fair to assert at any point in that fight that he's actually going all out in any regard, whether it be speed, strength, anything. So that's number one. She's definitely not as fast as Madara. And then number two, whenever she breaks through the Susanoo, we actually have some pretty solid indicators that not only is he not using his strongest version of the Susanoo, like that, I think it's fairly obvious, but also she may be mental amped there. We see that right before this encounter, we kind of cut away and then come back, but essentially right before this, she does seem to get kind of like the Will of Fire amp, which we know is actually a mental amp.
I mean, look at how powerfully strong these letters are. It's all in capitals and it's in red.
So you can kind of attribute her shattering the Susanoo with her strike to being above what she normally would be at. So even in a matchup against Sasuke, who is weaker than this version of Madara, I am not entirely certain that we can actually use that scaling, or that feat rather, to scale her to a point where she can just shatter through Sasuke's Susanoo, especially not like the armored. So do you have anything else to add there in regards to kind of like how these feats are just not that good?
Yeah, I mean, one thing Madara says directly after Tsunade shatters his ribcage Susanoo, he's standing there in the trees that he made, and he's like, Ashram, I don't know what you left these guys, but this is just nothing compared to
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Robert. I don't know where you left them, but this falls far short of your abilities. He's like, what is this?
and what me and you used to do.
Yeah.
It's just another statement like Tsunade is nowhere near Madara. Breaking the ribcage Susanoo shouldn't give you that impression anyway, and increasing durability, given the higher forms that they have. So what Tsunade does here, it's impressive from the standpoint that she did shatter a Susanoo.
Yeah, and it was Madara's, so like that's pretty cool. But yeah, she still ain't nowhere near fast or
But it's not impressive where we're gonna say that, she scales to Madara because of it. This obviously applies to things like Tsunade tapping the Madara clone and blowing off half of his chest. Where people say that, Madara subbed the clone after he got hit, which I don't think makes too much sense. I think it's more that Madara subbed before he got hit, and that's why he says afterwards, "Hey, Hashirama's wood clone. I'm the only one who can see through that." Because like Tsunade running up on Madara and just punching him in half, it's just isn't realistic.
that's not happening. No,
I'm,
no.
I'm sorry, it's just not. But yeah, Tsunade obviously does have really impressive AP.
Excuse me.
When we talk about win cons, obviously since she's a punch kick merchant, that's going to be something we have to bring up and how Sasuke interacts with and gets around that. But yeah, generally, Tsunade just does not scale to Madara. Let's please stop saying that forever and just move on. Sasuke's scaling is really only important in one area, and that's speed. Because if Sasuke gets speed, just like pretty much every other Uchiha, he's got some type of hacks ability that he can use in order to completely overpower another person. Whether that's Genjutsu, Madarasu, his Susanoo arrow.
Yeah, he's got a lot he can throw out there. Quite a big arsenal as Sasuke.
Whatever. The Uchiha just seem to have these extremely broken win cons. Now, Sasuke's speed scaling, especially when it comes in relation to someone like Tsunade, is going to be a bit weird. Just because Tsunade doesn't really have any. And Sasuke is kind of in a similar boat where, like, okay, Sasuke can dodge the Raikage in V1, and the Raikage in V1 can keep up with KCM1 Naruto. But KCM1 Naruto's speed feats are all impressive after he gets fast enough to move past the V2 Raikage. So then it kind of depends on your interpretation of that. Okay, well, was Naruto mental amped in that moment, and he can only access that level of speed when he's mental amped? Possibly. But one thing's for sure, Tsunade does seem very impressed by both the Raikage and Naruto's speed, even before Naruto does the run that body flicker. You think it's a mental amp, whatever. So saying that they're faster than Tsunade, I don't think is too much of a stretch, especially given how KCM1 is supposed to be a level above Sage Mode, like Naruto leveling up in the story, obviously. And Sage Mode Naruto was above Jiraiya, and Sage Jiraiya naturally, who should also be above Tsunade. So it doesn't seem like too much of a stretch to say that, Sasuke would be faster than Tsunade. And that's not to downplay Tsunade. Like, obviously she's going to be fast in terms of the general verse, but then these higher tier characters and these speedsters specifically that Sasuke can keep up with, it just doesn't seem like she gets to that level, or at least I don't see a way to properly get her to that level.
Yeah, like she ain't slow. It's just she doesn't compare to a lot of people higher up. Ah, my shoulder. That was weird. Like there's a reason she's the Hokage. You know what I mean? Like she's not incapable, but like I said, her strength is her biggest like strength.
Level.
Yeah.
Ah.
Well, I would say even from like a narrative point of view, you have a ton of narrative implications putting this version of Sasuke alongside Sage Mode Naruto, and I know people go back and forth on that. Some people think one has the edge, some people think the other does. But generally speaking, the narrative implication is that they're kind of on the same tier. And in order for that to be the case, they can't just like one of them can't just be like murder blitzing the other one. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So even with just that, him being around the level of somebody like Sage Naruto, who again like should have at least tied up with, if not, I think most people believe surpassed Jiraiya, and Jiraiya, along with the other Sanin, being somewhat relative to one another for the most part. It just kind of like lends credence to the idea that Sasuke, at bare minimum, especially with a Mangekyo Sharingan, should be able to track her movements. His Susanoo, he
Definitely.
can erect it faster than he can even physically move. So that even if like you want to argue, oh well, maybe Tsunade has a little bit of a speed advantage, which there's no way that could ever be
No.
defended. But even if somebody were to argue that, being able to like claim that she can blitz him so fast he's unable to erect his Susanoo, when we literally see like Danzo, who is relative to Sasuke to some degree, is like behind him and says, "Let's battle with our eyes instead," and then goes to jab him at point blank
And then
range.
you've
Like
got the,
Sasuke is
the
able
rib.
to erect his Susanoo.
Yeah, it's just blocking it.
Even at point blank range against people who are relative to him or even faster than him, like he's able to erect the Susanoo and defend himself. So yeah, she can get around the rib cage she's on, but like, what happens if he brings out the skeletal? Can we actually scale her to that level? Or like, I mean, the armored, partial armored, like, at what point are we
Yeah.
just gonna be like, yeah? First of all, he can get the Susanoo up faster than she can strike him, and second of all, she may not be able to get through this. So I think his scaling with the speed is vitally important, just in the sense of like, I don't even think he's going to need to physically tag her, just in the sense of being able to react to her to defend against like the massive AP punches that she may have.
Brought up the Donzo fight, and I think what's interesting about the Donzo fight that people don't bring up for Sasuke in a lot of his different versus battles is the fact that he can subtly place you under Genjutsu, and he'll test you to make sure that he can do it beforehand. So Sasuke's ability to do that, and with someone like Tsunade, who likely does not have the counters to Genjutsu that like someone like Guy does, or someone like from the other villages does, because Tsunade is a leaf shinobi. All the other villages have to figure out how to counter the Uchiha because the Uchiha are coming.
From Konoha, yeah. So like, it's learning you learn to counter the other villages stuff.
I mean, beating them up. Tsunade is fighting
Yeah.
alongside the Uchiha, so it's not like she has to have the Genjutsu counters the same way that everyone else does. So saying that Tsunade would like have some like crazy level of Genjutsu resistance or something like that is just completely ridiculous. And I think that like Jiraiya, Jiraiya goes, hey, at some point you just gotta give up. If you can't break the Genjutsu, you're clapped.
Yeah, you're done.
You gotta fold.
Someone's got to snap you out of it.
And Sasuke's Genjutsu specifically at this point in time is stated to have the best use, or the max use case of the three Tomo Sharingan. And obviously he's evolved to the MS, so like he should be able to do things like controlling the nine tails, similar to how Obito did.
Yeah,
at this
yeah,
point and whatnot. So Sasuke at this point, he's pretty cracked with Genjutsu, and that's just a super good win con for him.
Yeah, because all he really has to do is stun her for like a second, and then like her physical durability isn't actually that crazy in terms of like attacks that she can just no sell, like where she just takes zero damage. Like she still takes damage. Like when she gets hit with the Yasaka Magatama beads, you can see like the big like steam cloud coming off of her, which is like indicating the regen. So she very clearly like got her chest blown open, but like she's able to kind of regen from that. Obviously, when she gets cut in half, she's able to, with the help of Katsuyu and Orochimaru, regen from that. Getting stabbed through the chest with Madara's Susanoo blades, she can regen from that. But at the end of the day, she's still getting harmed.
Yeah, she's still getting bloody beat up. Like,
So if Sasuke is able to get her in a subtle genjutsu and like freeze her long enough to be able to just like take her head off, like that, I don't think she's regrowing her head.
No.
Like there's just, it's just not happening. So I do think genjutsu is a legitimate win con. And then honestly, even more than that, just based on how he fights in character, we have things like Amaterasu and Kagetsuchi, where I don't really think she has crazy counters for. Like maybe you could argue that she like is able to sense it for some reason. I mean, she never really displays sensory like that, but let's just give her the benefit of the doubt. Say she could sense it and like block it with her arm. Okay, then she just cuts off her arm, can she actually like regrow limbs in a short period of time? I don't know. Have you seen it?
Doubt it.
Not me. You
Uh-uh.
know, like it's like so at worst, Amaterasu is going to take a couple shots, but he's able to use Amaterasu and create shape transformation with it and like stab people with it and just
Yeah.
kind of formulate it around his body, cover his Susanoo in it. Which by the way, he's able to like put the Amaterasu flames on his Susanoo so fast that like A is already committed to his attack, and then the flames get erected, and A then finishes his attack. So it's like kind of low key blitzing A's attack speed with that. Um, so it's like I don't really see a way that she gets around the Amaterasu with the
No.
Kagetsuchi. Like, do you see anything there? Or like, am I
No,
tripping?
I mean the only thing I could see people arguing is that the Amaterasu didn't really affect the Raikage, but not only was the Raikage literally resolved to die in the fight against Sasuke,
Yeah.
where I don't think Tsunade is gonna have the
No.
same feeling. She's gonna be feeling like she's invincible, with her 100 healings or whatever. We have direct evidence that the Raikage is more durable than Tsunade because of Mabui's light speed transfer jutsu, where Tsunade actually takes damage from it because of how fast the jutsu makes you move. Tsunade takes damage from it, and the Raikage doesn't. She uses 100 healings to heal
Okay.
whenever she lands at the battlefield. And Mabui specifically says like, hey, maybe the Raikage could do it because the third Raikage could do it, and he had a super tough body. But we don't know if you can do it. We don't know what the effects will be on. And Sasuke, I mean, Amaterasu was one, right? And then he jammed a Chidori into A's chest. I was talking about this before. Some guy told me that he didn't think that Sasuke actually pierced A. He just like touched his chest, but no, you can literally see the blood
Yeah.
coming from A's chest, and
Squish.
Sasuke
Sound
pierces him.
effects.
So, like, even if he does do, whether he does Amaterasu, whether he does Chidori, whether he puts the Amaterasu in his Chidori like he did against Naruto, doesn't matter. If he hits her with Amaterasu, she's getting burned, and Tsunade does not have good heat resistance. We saw her block Madara's fire style when he was floating away from the Edo Tensei. Her arms are burnt up. She's like reeling in pain a little bit. Tsunade does not have good heat resistance, number one. And even if she did, when Kagetsuchi's on you, Sasuke can control it to turn it into like spears.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
imagine, it's on her shoulder and he morphs it into a spear to like stab through her neck or something like that. That control over the flames that he has with Kagetsuchi, where it just makes him way more dangerous than Itachi ever could be with it, and it's extremely dangerous for someone like Tsunade, who just pushes forward and doesn't care to get hit because she can heal a lot.
Yeah.
Um,
I would also say,
no, no,
just
keep,
like
go
the
ahead, go ahead.
yeah, like the just to go with another sort of narrative implication, like we know that Itachi is considered to be above the Sannin because he just like
Oh yeah.
body bagged Oro with a low diff, and then even like 10 years later, Orochimaru's like, yeah, that guy's way stronger than me,
Yeah, he's still
And
like,
this
no,
version
I
of
gotta fight him
Sasuke,
again. I've gotta fight him again. God damn it.
there are arguments back and forth about who's stronger between like this version of Sasuke and Itachi. I do think Itachi's above him because he's more relative to like early EMS, but he at least has like the same exact arsenal outside of like the Totsuka blade. You know what I mean? Like he's still got Mangekyo Sharingan level Genjutsu. He still has Amaterasu, a better version of it actually, and the Susanoo. His physical scaling puts him, maybe not quite to where Itachi's at, but like, maybe just like a tier below. And so if he's like 80%, 70% of Itachi, and Itachi's just cliffing the Sannin, I think it's fairly obvious that he should also be putting up a pretty solid fight against them, especially with like basically the same weapons in his arsenal. So I think it's like really consistent to just say like, okay, well, if you think a win con for Itachi over them is Amaterasu, then the guy who has a better version of it in Sasuke should also have that win condition as well.
Yeah, and just to say, like, Donzo does say that Itachi and Sasuke are two brothers who quote unquote have the same powers, and the
Mhm.
data book doesn't list Sasuke as being stronger than Itachi or having techniques and eye techniques to surpass Itachi until he gets his EMS. So it's completely possible that MS Sasuke is on the level of Sick Itachi, on that cliffing the Sannin level. So, like, when it comes down to it, and he can fight at range with multiple of his jutsu, like either Amaterasu, or he can use Susanoo arrows to fire at her. There's just multiple things he can do at range.
Yeah, like Tsunade needs to get close. She ain't doing anything from afar unless she's like punching the ground and then throwing rocks at you.
And it's just really hard for me to see a world where Tsunade can punch Sasuke. And like I don't know if you can like visualize it better than me, but I
No.
don't see where Tsunade like landing the hit comes in here at all.
Yeah, you'd have to have like a million IQ strategy to like get around his Susanoo and open up an opportunity for her to actually beat him. Because again, like her one win condition is punch real strong. You know,
Yeah,
like
that's
that's
it.
really
Like,
it. Whereas like he can snipe her from a distance with Susanoo arrows, which are like a blitz tier above his own physical speed. Even Danzo, who's able to go relative with Sasuke for most of their fight, is unable to fully move out of the way of the Susanoo arrow and has to like change its course by releasing Wood Style out of his side. And Wood Style does tend to be faster than the user itself. So I think it's just fairly obvious that like something like that is going to be something she has massive issues dealing with. And like that arrow isn't tiny either. Like that arrow can be enormous. So you could make the case that it could just bisect her if he like shoots it at the correct angle or something. And then if that doesn't work, he's got his Amaterasu defense. If that doesn't work, he has the Susanoo, which can defend against her fairly well, I'd say, but also it's faster than the user. You know, Obito calls it super fast. It's able to kind of like blitz Danzo at point blank range multiple times whenever Sasuke himself is unable to do that. So not only is it like difficult to put her above Sasuke's regular speed, but then whenever you have these attacks like the Amaterasu, like the Susanoo arrow, like the Susanoo strikes themselves that are just faster than him, it just makes it that much more difficult. Oh, by the way, still has Genjutsu. So I don't really see a
yeah.
way that she gets around it, unless you just want to say like she summons Katsuyu and Katsuyu just like melts the Susanoo. I don't know. Like there's really nothing else I could think of. Like, and even then he has his summons. Like he can summon Manda 2 or Alba, whichever one he has at that point in time. Like there's a bunch of different
Yeah, you can still counter that like as well. He's got everything he needs to fight
things that he can do there. So
Tsunade. Like,
yeah, unfortunately, Tsunade is probably getting body bagged here like 99 times out of 100, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, if you can't tell, this is us wrapping up the video. But I saw the people talking about this, and it just seemed like you're giving Tsunade way too much credit, while not giving Sasuke
enough.
any at all.
Yeah.
They're just like, well, Sasuke has Susanoo. She broke Madara's Susanoo. Madara's stronger than Sasuke. So, yeah, but it's like it's just so not that simple. Like Madara is clearly just not trying against Tsunade and whatnot.
Yeah, well, it's also
It's still cool that she broke the Susanoo. But if Madara was actually trying to kill them there and then, yeah.
so like,
wouldn't
hey,
happen.
real quick, anybody making that argument, quantify the difference between Madara's ribcage Susanoo and Sasuke's armored Susanoo. Go ahead. Yeah, like what? Like, there's no way to do that. So it's just like even the skeletal. You can never argue that Madara's like ribcage is stronger than Sasuke's skeletal. It's just not possible. So yeah, it's just a weird argument to make.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, this is just wrapping up the video. Go subscribe to Sage. He really saved me. I'm super tired, and he was the only person available to record. But yeah, go subscribe to him. If you like the video, leave a like on it. Subscribe to me too. If you want to say anything.
No, yeah, I appreciate it. I'm glad to be able to, put the cape on, come in here and do my service. You know what I mean? But
Put the cape on.
it was a good time. Definitely come check out my stuff. Check out more of his stuff. You probably already have. If you're watching this, like what you're already 20 plus minutes. Why are you not subscribed?
Boom. Cool. Yeah. Like, yeah. No, Sasuke got it. Right at the beginning. Yeah. Like, I was waiting for which Sasuke we're talking about. At the end, no chance whatsoever. You know what I mean? The discussion's not even there. Oh, God. I don't know what I've done to my shoulder. And then beginning, nah, Sasuke don't have a chance. But that bit, oh yeah, Tsunade ain't winning that. So yeah, that was a cool little versus video. I don't think I've seen a Sasuke versus Tsunade video before. Interesting one. And thank you for watching.
Like and subscribe. Pixel Party Pals. Pixel Party Pals.